To whom much is given, we all know much is expected. Of course, the people of Anambra State have given their mandate to Professor Chukwuma Soludo, and he leads the government of Anambra State. Quite recently, the Anambra have been very disturbed about the news coming up. It's not a new thing, but then that it has become a trend sometimes is really troublesome. Jungle justice, the recent being the killing and burning of two gentlemen, permit me to use that term to describe them, at Bida Road on Onitsha here. But then as the outrage continued to pour and the justification today on Radio Sapiencia, you all heard, those who were with us on Sapiencia Express, how people, caller after caller, called in and justified that. As much as we don't want to live in a society where that goes on, we really need to address the core issues. And of course, we can't address these core issues without speaking directly to those saddled with the responsibility of protecting lives and property, and also properly informing the people. How do we even know who is right and who is wrong in all of this collection of rents and things out there? How do we recognize who is a tout? How do we begin to deal with the very issues that make people want to take laws into their hands? I'm ready. My guest is here with me. He's quite ready, and we bet you're ready. My name is Jude Geoman, and I welcome you to today's edition of Citizens Forum. With me here in the studios, I'm very glad to announce that I'm here with Paul Nwosu, Honorable Commissioner of Information, Anambra State. Welcome to Citizens Forum.
Thank you, Jude.
I think we should.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know. There is nothing we do for the first-time guests, but then I'll think about it after today's edition. Welcome, sir. All right. So much to talk about Anambra State, but let's begin with on a sad note. On a sad note, we saw whatever they did, these are human beings. And like I said on radio today, there is nothing in our culture as Igbo people. There is nothing in the laws of Nigeria or Anambra State. There is also nothing in the laws of whatever God we worship, whether you're a Christian or you're a Muslim. Yeah. Or you follow the tradition of your fathers, that permits people to broad daylight, round up human beings and roast them alive. But then, before we begin to condemn it completely, is also to ask ourselves, how did we get to this point where law-abiding people, normal law-abiding citizens, easygoing, jolly fellows, businessmen will get to the point where they start doing this thing? So we need to address this problem properly. Now, I'll begin by asking you this question in a way like reporting to you the average caller this morning.
Yeah.
Their opinion about why they support it. And they seem to have lost complete confidence in our justice system. They were very particular about the police, who, of course, when in the media, we always tell people, when you arrest people like this, take them to the police. If the vigilante guys are there, take them to them first, and then the vigilante will take them to the police. They tend to say they have lost confidence in the police. They tend to also say they have lost confidence in the courts, and that is why we are here. First of all, I want you to briefly, from the government's angle, what really happened at Bida Road? And then, two, how do we begin to regain the confidence of people in our institutions such that we don't allow our children see this and normalize this growing up?
Yeah, thank you very much, Jude. And once again, thank you for having me. What happened at Bida Road was rather unfortunate. Okay, as a government, we don't support jungle justice. Much as people claim they've lost confidence in our judicial system, in our law enforcement system, but that is what we have, and we must work with as a civilized government. But be that as it may, you will recall that from the very onset, when our governor, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR, came on the saddle, he made it very, very clear that agboro, aborolo, as we say in Igbo language, which means agboro is not a sustainable means of livelihood. It is not, it is diametrically opposite to the kind of society that he wants to build, a society that is livable and prosperous, a civilized society. So it is, he made it very, very clear from the onset. And the law enforcement agents, these same police that our people are saying that they don't have confidence in and all, they were the ones that are actually carrying out, executing this mandate of the governor to rid our streets, motor parks, and markets of touts of agboro and touting. But it is challenging. It is challenging. And like the governor will tell you that, you know, alo boafo, when bad things persist for a very long period of time, you know, it becomes a tradition, a custom. So it was a big challenge for the regular force and law enforcement agencies that we have to contend with this. Maybe this is why our people say that police is not working, they are not doing this, they are not doing that. But you have a population of these people, you know, everywhere. And these are not necessarily in the Anambra. They are our contiguous neighbors, you know, who migrate to this place. But because they see Anambra, Onitsha, I'm sorry to say, as a London, where people migrate to look for a better means of livelihood, opportunities and things. So you have a lot of them here. And it's a big challenge for police. Okay? Now, I recall too that somewhere down the line, people are even saying that we promised them that we are going to get rid of agboro and things like that, that we are not doing much. But the truth is that these people are being caught on a regular basis. And we showcase them, you know, through social media handle, through our own ABS, and we send some shots to you people too. But we understand why sometimes you don't carry these things, because you are a commercial station. Okay, so
and we'll continue to be.
so we are trying as much as we could to get rid of this. So what the governor did some weeks back is to now create a squad, create a unit that will specifically focus on getting rid of touts and touting. Okay, now they were inaugurated, and of course, they went to work. And you know, for law enforcement and units like the one that was inaugurated by the governor to work effectively, SASA, they need intelligence. And obvious, people hearing that Governor Soludo, you know, had inaugurated SASA, of course, started giving intel, because already we put out in the public space numbers. In fact, the day the governor was inaugurating them, he himself announced the numbers to be called if they find people, you know, touting and doing things that governor has outlawed. Okay? Now, these people got the information that there is a hideout behind Menax Hospital. Okay. You know, where these criminal gangs and, you know, touts, because there is actually a thin borderline between touting and other criminal activities. They are all like Siamese, twins. So they got this information and they went there. It's like a shanty behind Menax there. They went there and busted them, okay? Arrested some, the rest took to their heels. Okay, and it is in the process of trying to flee arrest that they scampered into all manner of places, including this bidder that you are talking about.
Okay, okay.
All right. By this time, our own SASA had done their job and had retreated. But you know, these criminals, they live with us. People know them. And apparently, this particular gang operate regularly in our different markets, and traders know them.
Okay.
Traders know them. So immediately they see them, you know, obviously on the run, and a man that is on the run whom you used to fear when he is you know, when he is in his element to do his scouting job. They saw them trying to escape, you know, from whatever, and apparently vulnerable. So they pounced on them. Ordinarily, if those guys were in their elements to come out to do their job, they were dreaded. Nobody would come to them. So out of anger, because they've lost dear ones to them, you know, in their bid to forcefully extort, and, you know, they maim, they cripple, they injure, they kill. So with that anger, you know, we are told they pounced on them, and they did what they did. Okay, and by the time our law enforcement and police got there, the deed was done. And like I said, it is unfortunate. It is government is not happy about it. You know, ours is a government that preaches law and order, and anywhere we find jungle justice and mob action, we condemn it in totality, because what they would have actually done was to, since they were vulnerable, okay, would have been to arrest them, maybe tie them up, call the police, or even call SASA, you know, and hand them over, you know, so that they in turn will now prosecute them, you know, in a competent law court.
You know, I hear you clearly, and I know everybody hears you clearly. Before we move to something else, there's a question I want to ask, and I want us to look at it this way, right?
Yeah.
And it's the bottom line for me is confidence. You know, I mean, if I was living in Israel,
yeah,
you know, because when people talk about insane crimes, this wouldn't have happened. Israel was also one country. I would also say, I mean, certain things wouldn't happen. But then we saw what failure of intelligence did, blah, blah, blah. The enemy got in. But then there's something, and that is response. Okay, so let's say my mother was kidnapped, my mother was killed, my dad was killed, my child was killed, unfortunately. You know, when I watch the response of my country, I'm laughing over this, but I'm sure there are so many parents in Israel who can laugh over what I'm laughing over. You know, if I see the response of my country, it won't bring anybody back.
That's true.
But tomorrow, if my country tells me, if you see something, say something, I'll definitely say something if I see something, because I know. How do we get to assuring people? By ensuring that, because like you said, and I also agree, if these guys had been in their elements, nobody would have accosted them.
Yeah.
How do we ensure that nobody stays in their elements for 24 hours in any of our communities? Because if nobody stays in their elements for 24 hours in any of our communities, everybody who wants to protect their family, because as a father myself, I want safety for my children. Yeah. Everybody who wants safety for their children will know, if we know there are criminals operating here, fathers are going to come together and know how to report this, so these people are readed. But unfortunately, right or wrong, I don't know, but right or wrong, there is this conclusion by people that if we had not killed these two we saw, these two would have resurrected. How do you think we can achieve this? Because to me, that's the only way people, that confidence will be restored.
Yeah. You see, let me start by responding this way. Okay. We are evolving a new society, a new polity where life is respected, and those who are supposed to protect life and property take their jobs very, very seriously. That I can tell you under this administration, because I know where you are going. Yeah. You talked about confidence. You know, if we call those that it is their job to rein in these people, Will they respond? Will they respond promptly? Yeah. Yes. We are beginning to build a system that is very, very responsive. Recall that when Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR, came into office, he did something that no governor has ever done before. First of all, he created the Ministry of Homeland Affairs. Homeland Affairs to take care of our internal security, okay? And they hit the ground running immediately. And also you will recall that when Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo came into office too, 8 local governments were under siege. Okay. Using the instrumentality of this new ministry that I just told you about, Homeland Affairs, gradually but steadily, these 8 local governments were liberated to the effect now that people can go home and return. Before now, I couldn't go to Ogbaru. I'm from Ogbaru. I couldn't go to Ogbaru because these guys through Okija Ihiala gravitated into Ogbaru. When the heat was so much for them, they came into Ogbaru. Ogbaru was a no-go area. But today, to the glory of God, as a matter of fact, I went to Ogbaru yesterday. And most of my colleagues too, and our people have been traveling. We're expecting that this Christmas and New Year is going to be like no other before, because people have been calling, expressing desire to come. And so the Anambra State end of year is going to still witness that Christmas economy that we know, where people are happy, festive and all that. Now, you will also discover that we have come with a new approach to dealing with security. And that is, if you see something, say something. You may not know, but if you see something, say something campaign is beginning to yield the kind of results that, I can't find the right words to explain here. But the only way I can explain it to you is that it has been responsible for the liberation of these 8 local governments. And it has been responsible for the pinpointed arrests and busts that our security agencies have been making lately. And I want to add to that, we have a new commissioner of police in Anambra State, Aderemi. That new commissioner of police apparently has worked for a long time in Anambra. There is no nook and cranny of Anambra that he doesn't know, So when you are talking about security in Anambra, he knows it like the palm of his finger. So all that joined with our Homeland Affairs efforts, and Governor Soludo's marching order, insistence that this thing must be done the way it's supposed to be done. We are seeing results. We are seeing results. And let me tell you, and let me use this opportunity to tell the Anambra, that it is not business as usual. The numbers we have asked them to call is not for them to call so that somebody now will snitch on them or to go and say that. In fact, the governor said that some of these numbers are directly linked to him. All right. So you call, your call and your information will be treated in strict confidence. So what else would you? Nobody has told them this in the past. No administration has come up with, if you see something, you say something. Okay? No administration has come up with a Ministry of Homeland Affairs. And you see that all these policies are all channeled to buoy the confidence of the Anambra and tell them that this government is out to do things differently. And like we continue to tell people, this is a disruptive government. When we talk about disruption, what we are saying in a layman's language is change. That we are not going to be doing things the way we used to do them before. And that is why we are seeing results that we are seeing today.
All right, let me take you on something that's also very dear to my heart, because I think at the core of governance, I'm not one of those who share this sentiment that says if a government comes into power, if only they can do this alone. I don't share that.
Okay.
But I also do believe that there are some key areas that every government must focus on, and we can begin to see. One of them is, of course, security. We've spoken a little about security. Let's talk about education.
Okay.
All right. Now, quite recently, the administration of Chukuma Soludo talked about the free education.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask your opinion about something, because I've heard some people praise it. I've heard some parents praise it. I don't have a child who's benefiting from that, I must say that. But I've heard people, praise it. But I've also heard people say something, and they say, what's this? That there is actually no free education the governor has introduced. That there has always been free education. That what the governor actually did was maybe take away some illegal fees, that the governor did not introduce free education. How do you respond to this sentiment?
Let me respond first of all by laughing.
All right.
You see, for every policy, you will see some people who want to criticize for criticizing's sake.
Okay.
Now, yes, the Constitution prescribes that every child is entitled to free education,
okay.
And where it is practicable. And of course, we know, because of that simple clause, where practicable. Yes, people have relied on that, not to make education free. Okay, and that is what it has been in Anambra State. But our governor has looked through it, because like he will say, have you gone through it? He has looked through it, and more so, we are an APGA government. And our philosophy in APGA is onyaga na 1 year, nobody must be left behind, okay? Everybody must be carried along. Right. So if we are saying that we're a government of onyaga na 1 year, then it behoves of this government to make education free at reasonable level, at least at levels where a child will have basic education. And that was exactly what he pronounced the other day.
Was it just primary or primary, secondary?
No, we are talking about nursery.
Okay.
We are talking about primary. We are talking about JS 1 to 3. Okay. Then when you talk about SS 1 to 3, it was pegged at 5,000 naira. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5,000 naira. Okay. Before then, they were paying well beyond that. They were paying as much as 10,000, sometimes 11,000. Okay? Same with JS 1 to 3. Okay? And I think in primary school too, this levy, that levy. But the man says no.
So how can you guarantee that some of these schools are still not? I heard there was one principal, maybe two, I don't know, that were apprehended because parents.
Yes,
said,
4 principals.
But how do you guarantee right now?
4 principals, okay. and more are on the watch list.
Okay.
So it's a task. Like I said it, I gave you a proverb earlier on in Igbo. Okay? And I translated it too. Yeah. That when bad things, habits, persist for a long time, it becomes a tradition. And that's exactly, obviously, my brother, this thing cannot be eradicated overnight. But we have started. Let's begin. We have started the journey. And 4 principals, we are caught with their hands in the pot. In fact, less than 48 hours after the policy was made. Yeah. And to give them a fair hearing, they were put on suspension. And if they don't explain why they will brazenly violate a policy that came straight from the governor's mouth, they will have their appointments terminated. And I mean, we believe that will serve as a deterrent to others. That if you go the same route, whatever fate that befell these other ones will come to you.
All right. We'll throw
and in any case,
all right.
You see, when we talk about free education, we talk about free quality education.
Okay.
We want our public schools to be as competitive as any private or mission school that you have. And this is why they are being given all the attention, you know, that they need to be able to measure up. Because what we had in the past is that people will leave public schools and send their children to private school. Meanwhile, most of us went through public school. My governor will proudly tell you that he went through public school, you know, and ended up in University of Nigeria, Nsukka, which is also a public university.
But it's not, this links
So
me to
what we are saying is,
yeah.
bring your children to public school.
schools. But this links me to the question I wanted to ask you. Clearly links me to the question I wanted to ask you. It's not an Anambra thing now, and we need to say this. It's not an Anambra thing. It's a Nigerian thing. It's a Nigerian thing that the quality of education my father enjoyed, I did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, for real. For real.
Sadly, the quality of education I also enjoyed. I'm also watching the generation of Nigerians wondering what's happening. All right, the quality of teachers that taught me. Yeah. I can say this for free. The quality of teachers that taught me. I'm not even talking of your generation now. The quality of teachers that taught me. I'm just looking for the schools that can attract and hold those, you know, those quality of teachers. And it's a Nigerian thing. So we need, what's it called now? State of emergency on education. So I need to say this. It's not an Anambra thing. But then let's come down to Anambra, right? I've never been in government. So I want to ask you this because it confuses me. And that is this. When government talks about its investment in education, there's always this government schools, and I understand. But isn't there supposed to be an outlook to education to say, okay, the children of Nigeria. If you come down to state, you say, okay, the children of Imo State. And when I say children, I mean, I was born and bred in Kaduna. So when I say the children of, I mean the children who are born and who reside in Anambra State or Imo State. Shouldn't there also be, okay, we are doing something for education, so maybe we'll look at the private sector, private education, because they're also helping out. I mean, government can't, and the missions can't also educate all the children in the state. So say, okay, maybe we have some strict criteria that if there are private schools that meet, for you to operate, first of all, you need to meet this and this and this criteria. And then if you meet it, maybe government will come in this way and, you know, to educate the children of the states. I don't know, I've never been in government, but why does this not happen? It's always send your children to government school. If you're in private school, well, you chose that. There seems to be this dichotomy.
You talk about criteria, right?
Yes.
Well, you see, anyway, you've said it. You are not in government. Yeah. But I tell you, there is a criteria.
Okay.
There is a benchmark of what should be the standard of education. I am not the commissioner for education, but if you invite the commissioner for education on this show, she will tell you that there is a criteria, both for public, private, mission schools. And this is why if you are seeking to set up a school, you don't just go and start school in Ward Bacha. Before now, I think that was what was obtained. But shortly after this administration took root, most of these shanty stuffs were all closed down. You see, because like governor would say, where he will not like to send his child to go and school, he will not want the ordinary Onye Anambra to send his own child there. So those schools, that is an indication to you that there's already a standard.
No, but my focus was not, my focus was this. When a school meets the standard, I understand there's a standard. Like when a school meets the standard, shouldn't there be some kind of, like the government supports the government schools? We're also aware, and that's a good thing. You know, okay, the government also supports the mission schools. But how about the private schools?
Jude, are you not aware? Private schools are private schools. They are what they are. Yeah. But for public schools, which is government, and mission schools, mission public, just the other day, the governor doled out checks to these schools as a way of supporting them to make sure that they measure up, because government on its own is out to, ramp up the standard of public schools that have been denigrated, bad-mouthed, that they are this, they are that, their roofs are flying off, and all kinds of things.
But
that
they were
will,
flying off.
No, they were then, not now.
Okay.
No, then.
I'll go and make my research for now.
But you would have done that before.
I'll go and make. I mean,
you would have done that before now.
It's 21 local governments. Don't forget that. It's 21 local
so
governments.
you are a private, so you can we believe you have the resource.
No.
I can see so many buses out there. No, but let's come back to what we are saying.
All right.
You see, these schools, we are awarding contracts, to fix these schools. New ones public schools are being built. Okay?
Right.
Talk about, because I know what you want to, you are referring to is the structures and facilities they have. Then when you talk about manpower,
all right,
manpower, teachers, of course, you live in Anambra, you don't live in the moon. The other day, governor employed 5,000 teachers, and he's about to employ 3,000 more. What else? Because if you build the best structure, you build the best schools with air conditioners and fans and things, without good teachers, then you have done the service to the children.
Education
then when you come to the mission schools too, the mission schools, the Anglican, the Catholic, the Pentecostal, then the Adventist, their schools were all supported, with financially, with billions of naira. It was in the news, and I think I had it on your news bulletin.
No, like I said, I agree. I mean, nobody should pretend.
Yes.
Don't know. It's been an Anambra policy on education that works.
Yes.
And I think other states should emulate it. I was simply talking about, everybody knows. I've also been at events where from P2B to Obiano to, Soludo.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I've not been there, but I've read about this administration, continuing in that light. And I think it's the best thing that has happened to education in Anambra State. So I totally agree. I was just talking about, maybe when I get the Commission of Education here, I was just talking about private school, because I think, like I said, and that was why I started with that caveat, I've not been in government, so I don't know how this thinking comes about.
No, private schools.
Maybe some kind of subvention. I don't know. I don't know what it to be called, but
that could be worked out. But what I can tell you authoritatively is that we are committed to ramping up the standard of public schools and for the mission schools. The 4 of them that I just listed now, they've been given money, to support what they are doing, to make sure that they deliver quality education. Because the route now is not just education, but quality education. And that, is exemplified by the employments of 5,000 teachers and another 3,000 that will soon happen. Okay?
All right. Of course, we'll definitely at some point give out numbers for the see something, say something. And also, one thing I know people will be interested in is how do we identify, in fact, who is sent by government and who is not sent by government? Because especially those of us who live in Onitsha, that will be some serious kind of concern. How do we even recognize who we should engage and who we shouldn't engage? Because criminals are criminals, and that's what they do. Sometimes they impersonate. So that should be also made clear. But at this point, we are going to throw open the phone line so the audience gets to call in and, pass any information they might want to you or seek some kind of clarification.
No problem.
Reaction to something
you've
said.
But can I respond to how to identify, our law enforcement or when we come back?
All right. Maybe you do that while we. Yeah, do that quickly.
Okay.
All right.
About a fortnight ago,
all right,
we clearly identify our law enforcement team.
All right.
I'm talking about Atma, Ocha, UBETH, and the latest one, Sasa.
Okay.
We have them dressed in their various uniforms and, put them on a poster that we put out on social media, on our television, on our radio, so that if you see an Atma man, you see an Ocha man, okay, I can see them on the screen there. Okay. You know. You see a Sasa man, you know. You see an Ubet man, you know. And under there, we clearly stated their mandate. The Atma man is to ensure free flow of traffic. The Ocha man is to facilitate environmental cleanliness and, you know, enforcing of environmental levies. Then, the Sasa is to rid our environment of touts and touting. And then the UBED person is to enforce, you know, the collection of internally generated revenue, be it tax, levy, toll. So we made it very, very clear. Anybody that is not in the uniforms that you've just seen is not working for Anambra State government. Okay. It's not working for Anambra State government. And any one of them that you see that is crossing, you know, the boundary, the borders of his job description, you know, you are free to resist.
Okay, like somebody for sanitation trying to do something else.
Trying to control traffic. Okay. You know, it's...
Nobody will control traffic. We know where they will do.
You know, or you see a Sasa man going to collect taxes and internally revenue. You know it's not his job. And we stated the numbers that the members of public will call. You call those numbers.
Okay, when you see any violation.
When you see any violation, call any of those numbers and people will, our men will come immediately to know exactly what is happening. Now, if they are not wearing uniform, assuming it is a Sasa man or an Ocha man who is off duty, okay, but he sees something going wrong that has to do with his duty. If he comes, demand for his ID card.
Okay.
Demand for his ID card.
Which is standard procedure.
Yes, he will show you. And if these people are not doing what they are supposed to do, as a member of the public, you should be free to either video the person or take photographs of him. If he's beginning to tell you, nah, why are you videoing me? Why are you doing this? Why? Immediately know that he's not doing what he's supposed to do, or he is not from the organization that he claims to come from.
Yep. All right. Thanks for that clarification, and I hope you know, citizens will begin to take advantage of those numbers to call attention to these ills. All right. 09039195402. 09039195402 and 09021877307. Numbers to call to be a part of the program. Hello.
Good morning this morning.
Yeah, good morning and welcome to the program.
Broadcast on the studio. I don't know his name, but it's from Government House. Good morning as well.
Good morning. Yeah. My name is Paul Nwosu, Commissioner for Information. Yeah. Good morning. Good morning.
You are talking without looking at paper. Good morning.
How are you sure? Go ahead.
Yeah. Commissioner, so you shouldn't be reading through the script.
Yeah, true.
Please, well, let me commend the governor for a broader step taken to curtail this nuisance masquerading in every corner of Anambra State here on nature. But I want to say, in addition to what is going on, those boys are not standing alone. Hope you get me. There are people, they have backbone. I cannot come and stand on the way collecting money without having somebody as a backbone. When we were busy arresting those boys, we want to hear a top-notch who was cracked and arrested behind these things. It will help us to unravel the mystery of Abu and its menace in Anambra State. Then, on our child brigades, talk about environment. What is the work of ANSEPA? If I may ask. Now that we have a child brigade who is taking environmental issues, what is the actual work of ANSEPA and the money being paid to ANSEPA? What are they doing? Is it only paperwork or office work? Still on that, our child brigade in charge of environment that come to a place, give people 48 hours to clear their quotas. When initially government come up with that plan, we are praising the government because the level of quota carnages is beyond ordinary man in the street. Are you getting it? And the way the governor came up using heavy-duty machines to evacuate it, we love it. But how come Orchard Brigade now gives 48 hours asking people in the street to evacuate a seed quota by some government? And then next 2 days after 48, they kept and sealed up the place. Yeah, those people tried and break those seed quotas, which ordinary government ought to do. And they were asked to be paying almost 100,000 naira for defaulting. I want you to answer me. I will call you the street if you want. So I don't know if you ask someone to evacuate waste that is beyond him, because those waste are sands, which you know there's nobody in the yard that will come up and pour sand in the gutter. It has been accumulated, debt. So I don't know why you should be forcing people to do that when it is government work, as we are meant to know. And on school, I beg, please, can you come up clear? Are you talking about school salary, on basic education, or levies? Because to my knowledge, nationwide, any government-owned school under UBE doesn't pay school fees, except all this, handwork, this and that. Can you come up clear so I will know where we're going to praise the governor for? But I'm aware of what I'm asking you. Is it the levies, or is Anambra UBE different from other states? Because no government-owned primary school pays school fees, except all this backyard, as I've said, handwork, this and that. So can you help us and tell us actually what is that, the policy of government of free education? So that we understand where I'm coming from. So when I'm praising you, I will know the angle I'm praising you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. You responding to that immediately?
Yes.
Right.
Let me take it. First of all, let me thank, he didn't say his name though. I thank him for his question. First of all, the onslaught against Agboro by SASA is ongoing. It's been there before the inauguration of SASA. And I want to assure him, like he rightly pointed out, these people are not on their own. Okay. They have kingpins. Yeah. They have masters behind them. And we are locating them gradually. Okay? We are locating them gradually. At the right time, their names would be made known. But government is being discreet at this time so that we will be able to actually nab a good number of them, because you just isolate one person and begin to make a show of it, others will scamper. And I want to tell you that we will be shocked that those we don't even believe would be involved in these kind of things are the ones that are actually detailing these people to go there. So it's a sensitive thing we want to handle carefully so that we will be able to isolate, get a good number of them before we begin to go public. Then he talked about difference between OCHA and ANSIPA. The ANSIPA I know is Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, which is an agency created by government to promote investments. Just the other day, about roughly a month ago, the ANSIPA that I know.
I think there's ANSIPA. I think there's ANSIPA, the environment. They are like for evacuating waste, for instance, within Onitsha, that I get to see ANSIPA. Environment.
Okay.
ANSIPA is investment.
Investments, yes. But you see, OCHA. Then he talked about giving people 48 hours notice to evacuate gutter. And let me, with due respect, you see, in the first place, should the gutter in front of a man's house be piled with rubbish and sand until OCHA now asks them to remove it? You see, growing up, we know Anambra people to be very, very clean people. When you talk about people who being dirty is their tradition, is, okay, let me not malign any particular tribe in this country, but I'm sure we know them. These are people that we know that are dirty. Okay? Now,
I don't know them.
I will not mention. Okay. But when you talk about Anambra is known for keeping his house clean, sweeps it outside, sweeps his compound, and cleans his gutter. Gutter is not supposed to even gather anything. But what do we have today? People, they accumulate refuse, trash in their houses, and then they empty it in gutter. Because we must, when we blame people,
Want to do that quickly? So
yes, when we blame agencies, we try to look at what happened for the agency to react the way they did. Because in Igbo we say, yes, for them.
Let's pick this. We can join it with the other one. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Geoman.
Yeah.
I'm calling you from Manager.
All right, welcome to the program.
You are welcome.
Let me commend the Commissioner for information. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I think I'm impressed with what is going on so far. I have to commend the administration because for quite some time it looks as if Anambra State free for all. The government is there. Another Dubai, Gojan, China, Okakaono. One thing people love about Ngigam Peter when I had an on-the-spot assessment of what is happening.
Thank you.
Not about what for things for himself. So, I'm highly disappointed in what is happening in Opiwek. But the recent launch of the tiles anti-stuff, because you want to sanitize the thing. People that are there. Are they human beings at all? What's the sure human beings are there? In a blood-based life, both women and men, and a lot of things.
Yeah.
But we couldn't mention. People coming in from Asaba, Lagos, they do. This is an escape and customers away here. So that's why I have to commend him concerning on that aspect of getting rid of the power. It's a very good move. You need to extend it to other powers, that collect illegal revenue from the traders and those who trade on the roads, taking even 1 lane of the road. And people come there to collect money from them, thereby emboldening them to stay where they are. Nothing developed here and there. So we expect a professional approach to this, not just on the PUECA. You can have it all over the place. This state is peculiar, with markets here and there. So it's something that you needed our support. We have to give them the maximum support you need. You have to roll out the lines who can get on you. Once we see, we call on you to come and make our arrest, inspect the street. If it is where I have to prefer some solution, I have to come and do that.
Okay.
So that all eyes must be in Opiweka. Then from there, you come up to New Path, come up to Gidi Junction, you come up to Axis, all these areas. Because Anambra is, I think, Lagos, Anambra and Kanu as the commercial level of the nation.
Okay.
Anambra is basically a trading online business. And I believe there are some who are trading online business. So when you want to do physical business, you can come down here without anybody molesting you, embarrassing you, or, you're robbing you of your wealth or goods. So I commend him and urge him to keep it on.
Thank you.
The heat has to be on so that let's sanitize it so that foreigners can come in.
All right.
People admire this state so much. Foreigners can come in here and for tourism. They can come in here, settle in a hotel, build houses and stuff, thereby boosting the economy of the state. But obviously, a kind of a den of bandits and robbers.
All right.
So
I think that's.
I really have to stop here so far.
Thank you, sir.
For bringing him in.
Thank you, sir.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. My producers tell me, and I can see the whispers that we are, running out of time. So I think I'll allow you have the last word on the microphone right now.
Okay, fine. Let me run through this. So I was talking about, our own environment cleanliness. Okay. So if Ocha has given people 48 hours to clear their gutter, I don't think that is bad. I think it is fair enough. In the first place, that gutter should not be filled. That gutter should be clean. Be it gutter in front of your place, in your house, be in the gutter in front of your shop, be in the gutter in front of your warehouse. It must be consistently clean. Because if it is not clean, water will not pass through. Water will spill into the street. It causes flooding. School children will not know the difference between gutter and the road. And we've had cases in the past where people were drowned. So that is about that. Yeah. I encourage him to encourage people around him to continue to clean their gutter. If Ocha gave them 48 hours, I think they were fair enough. Then
all right, I think we have you less than a minute.
Less than a minute?
Yes.
Okay. He also talked about school fees. School fees, yes, Constitution says that there should be school fees, at all levels where it is possible. But at the end of the day, you will realize that, all this levy, that levy, Beret levy, and all that, the man that is talking, if he will be sincere, will agree that, yes, there are no school fees, but he pays more when with all these add-ons that he has. So, and this is what Governor Soludo has said, that there will be no more payment of any of those things.
All right.
None of them.
All right. Rome definitely will not be built today. We'll have time to build. We'll continue laying the bricks for Rome. All right. I want to thank you very much, Sir Paul Nwosu, Honorable Commissioner of Information, Anambra State.
Thank you.
For taking time out to come, responding at such a very short notice to come clarify on these issues, especially at the very unfortunate incident that happened here in our home. Onitsha is our home.
Yes,
in our home, Onitsha.
It is.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Jude.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Our Citizens Forum, of course, will be here same time, same station next week. Don't forget, I did make that announcement on Bits and Pieces Tuesday night that we'll be starting up, floating a WhatsApp group where we can come together, storm on issues, and call attention to things happening in our communities. Ensure we get swift and prompt response from the agencies responsible to deal with this. So whatever it is that's happening, we should know who exactly should deal with it, and then we know how to constructively deal with these agencies for maximum, because we need to take care of our communities. We need to own our communities. We need to take back our communities. We just can't go on this way, lamenting without organizing ourselves. My name is Jude Geoman. See you again next week.